Well, it's October already. I know, shocking. I couldn't think of a better month, though, to cover this Marvel's Midnight Suns superhero. As always, this video is brought to you by Marvel in 2K. Now, going back a ways, in 1998, I personally was unknowingly introduced to the world of superhero movies with this superhero at the helm. One of the original Midnight Suns, the Daywalker himself. Marvel's Midnight Suns lead producer Garth DeAngelis' favorite on the roster. I'm very excited to present to you Mr. Eric Brooks, aka Blade.
We invented stealth.
As a Dhampir, half human, half vampire, Blade's playstyle is pretty much what you would expect, but not without a few twists and turns here. He definitely falls into the all I want to do is hit stuff camp, but as you'd imagine, he's applying a lot of bleed on top of that. Especially effective against high health enemies, Bleed is going to see enemies taking damage every turn. He also has a nice complement of chaining abilities that will apply bleed liberally across the enemy squad. And on top of that, once enemies are bleeding, he has a few abilities that will deal increased damage. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to take a look at Make 'em Bleed. Aptly titled, this will be your main way of getting bleed added to your other card attacks. Make 'em Bleed is going to cause you to draw blade cards and then add bleed to your next 2 blade attacks, regardless of what was drawn. Considering the importance of bleed to a Dhampir like Blade, card is absolutely essential to have in the deck. If you're lucky enough to have a big chain card in your hand after playing this, the Hydra are definitely going to fall pretty quickly. Now at level 1, you'll draw 1 blade card, and the next 2 blade attacks will apply 2 bleed. On upgrade, you'll draw 2 blade cards, and the next 3 blade attacks will apply 2 bleed. Share the love. Blade would love that. If you've seen any Blade quotes from videos about Marvel's Midnight Suns, you may notice that he's a bit more on the serious side. Mr. Brooks has a pretty thick shell, which is understandable based on his upbringing, but if you're willing to try and break through that rough exterior, you might just find a big softie inside.
I barely saw them as human.
But probably not. Either way, if you're able to build your friendship with Blade, you'll really get the blood flowing. And yes, I mean that literally. At his level 1 friendship passive, you're get a 10% chance of applying bleed on any attacks he makes. Level 2 sees that jumping to 25%. Before you know it, you're fighting in a literal bloodbath just the way that Blade likes it. This is the time to embrace the darker side of the Marvel Universe, my friends. This is the time. So you've applied bleed around the battlefield en masse. What can you do with that now? Well, Blade's skill called the Hunger will apply 2 marked to every unit with bleed. Now we haven't talked about the marked mechanic for quite a while, so just as a quick refresher, how it works is when you KO a marked enemy, you get that card play refunded. That's right. Blade's going to allow for a lot of free card plays. On upgrade, you'll also heal Blade for each enemy with bleed at the time of playing the Hunger, and a late game mod could also grant +1 heroism when redrawing the card. If you've been paying attention to previous videos, you know what's coming next. That's right, big bad Blade heroics. Let's go. I dropped the name of this card earlier. It's called Daywalker. Powerful on its own as a chain 4 card. Raw damage output is very high, but Daywalker is especially effective when played after Make 'em Bleed, because true to the name, you'll in fact make 'em bleed everywhere. On upgrade, Daywalker also lets you draw a card for each target in the chain that you KO. Now let's finish up with Blade's Golden Midnight Suns heroic ability. I hope you invited all the Hydra you know to this party, because Blade would like to have a word with them. At a cost of 4 heroism, which isn't cheap, Blade will cast Glaive to target an AoE, applying huge damage, and applying 2 bleed to every enemy in the AoE. It's insanely powerful, so it rightfully carries the exhaust mechanic, but just in case you didn't think it was strong enough, you can upgrade it to level 2, and at that point, you'll get a 100% damage increase if the units you're targeting already have bleed. Bye-bye, bleeding baddies. Blade's blade isn't just bark. Wrote that myself. So, as you probably guessed, Blade is going to fit best with squads that can buff him up to share the love on his chain attacks. When you get a chance to see all of his cards, you'll notice a clear lack of knockback cards, so he's going to rely on other superheroes to reposition enemies for him. We're continuing to close in on December 2nd, and I'm just as excited as you are to get my hands on this game. Thank you so much for watching this series, you guys. Thanks to Marvel and 2K for working with me on these videos. Make sure that you're subscribed to both Marvel's Midnight Suns channel and my own. Check out the description below this video for all the important links. We're going to see you very soon, so hit that bell icon to be notified of the next video. Take care. We'll see you soon.